to a collar tie. So a collar tie is when my partner's elbows are bent and his hand is on my neck, okay? Pretty simple, right? There's tons of ways to counter this, right? Obviously there's elbow passes, there's wrist snaps, there's posts. So this isn't the only option, it's just one option. So all I'm doing, guys, is I'm also gonna grab my partner's head to do my slide-by. I can't do a slide-by without the head, right? This is just not gonna work. I have no connection. The biggest mistake I see like new people make with slide-bys when they start drilling it is for some reason, everybody forgets to grab the head. They're like, oh, I'll try to do this, and it's just not gonna work, right? So I'm gonna show the slide-by, and then I'll break it down a bit, okay? So I'm here, and I'm getting behind, all right? Clearly, you can see it's really effective because I'm not shooting to my knees, my level doesn't have to change, and I'm not exposing my neck. These are all really good things for Jiu-Jitsu, which is why it's one of my favorite attacks. Now, to break it down, when I'm coming in for my slide-by, I like to just bring my hand in and I almost will rest it on the neck. I think about it as like cocking a shotgun, right? My hand starts up here, but then it's gonna slide down to the elbow, right? That's the shotgun. I don't want to slide down to the wrist, right? It's just not quite as much of a control grip. I'm trying to slide down somewhere between my partner's armpit and his elbow. Anything higher, I'm probably just gonna slip. At the same time, I'm pulling my partner's head down consistently, okay? I know you might not be able to see it, but while I'm doing this, the full time, I'm pulling my partner down. That's what's getting my partner's hands to the mat, all right? If I don't pull my partner's head down, even if I get behind, I end up staying here, and this is not really good for me, all right? I want to be consistently pulling my partner's head down as I slide my partner through. That way we don't get stuck in a rear body lock, which we do have finishes from, but that's not what we're trying to do today. So again, I'm going to bring my hand through it. I'm cocking down to his arm, above his elbow and below his armpit. So anywhere above the elbow and below the armpit. At the same time, I'm pulling his head down as I look away, and now we get him to the ground, okay? Getting head to head, sliding in, I'm stepping, opening my chest up, pulling, and getting his hands onto the mat. So, step. So, big differences, guys, is if my partner is standing straight up like this, he's just kind of being a shooting partner, right? So let's get in the stance, right? Bend our knees, bend our elbows, and he's gonna give me a collar tie. All right, my goal with this hand is not to chop my partner's hand off, okay? That's just not gonna work. If he really holds onto my head, I'm gonna be stuck. I'm also not chopping and looking away and trying to throw his arm down. What I'm doing is, as I extend, I'm cocking to his elbow, and then I'm opening up the space between his chest and my chest. Right now, our chests are facing each other. I'm trying to open my chest up and get his hand off of my head. Notice, I'm not ducking my head. I'm not trying to dodge his hand. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm creating space, and then as I create that space, his hand is coming off. At the same time, his hand is pulling. Now, what's bringing him down to the ground is my collar tie, okay? So the whole time I keep the head. If I let go of the head, it's just not gonna work, okay? So, I'm in, I'm extending, I'm gonna step out to the side here. As I step out to the side, my hand comes down, I'm looking away, I'm opening my chest up. I'm grabbing beneath his tricep here, above the elbow, below the armpit. I'm pulling his head down, and I'm almost thinking about pulling his head down towards my hip, right? And now I cover behind, and we have our partner into a quad tie. I have a collar tie. My hand slides in to extend. All right, I'm gonna slide down to the elbow. At the same time, I'm stepping, and I'm opening up my chest while pulling his head down the whole time. I get my partner's hand to the mat. Notice that I always have the collar tie. I always have the collar tie, okay?
Before we get back to the video, guys, if you're enjoying this video and you want to support me and you want to learn more, you can click the link above. It's going to pop up, or go to brandonreed3x.com/store to find any of my Takedown for BJJ instructionals. You can also go to brandonreed3x.com/email to join my daily email list where I give tips and tricks about wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and kind of just do a daily journal so I can share with you guys like what's going through my mind. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the video.
When we have a slide by, there's three things going on here. Number one, my slide by hand is attaching to the elbow. Number two, my collar tie hand is pulling down on his head. Number three, you put your hand here, just hold on to my head. Number three, my hips are clearing the hand. So get your elbow down, my hips are clearing the hand, okay? So, don't worry so much about, again, trying to clear his elbow with your hand. That's not the job of this hand. The job is to stay attached to the elbow. Does that make sense, guys? The job of the slide by hand, the attacking hand, is to stay attached to the elbow. The job of the collar tie is to pull the head down continuously. And the job of my hips is to open up the space, which clears the collar tie. So together, as I extend, I pull down, my elbow, notice my elbow is flaring up. A lot of you guys are continuing to have your elbow down and trying to chop. That's not correct. My elbow is flaring up. I'm almost trying to throw my elbow to my far shoulder. Look at my elbow the whole time. This should be what you guys are looking at. My elbow is up the whole time. My elbow is not down. When my elbow is down, we're going to chop. That's not what we're trying to do right now. All right? So, the big detail is my elbow. All right? So I have the collar tie. I'm extending. My slide by hand, the hand that I'm using to attack, is sliding down above the elbow. That hand is, the elbow on that same side is looking up through the whole move. All right? Look at this. My elbow never goes down. It's always up until I get to the finish. And then I extend, elbow is up. I extend, elbow is up. The goal of my slide by hand is to connect to the elbow and keep my elbow up. It is not to clear the hand. The rotation clears the hand. You guys understand? My hand is not clearing his hand. The twist is. Back to it, on three. 1, 2, 3.